If Israel wanted to wipe out Gaza and all of Hamas, a true, real genocide, they could have done it in 2 days. IDF Captain Yair Pinto just returned from Gaza, and he makes this allegation sound completely stupid with lots of facts. As he says, Israel is the worst genocider ever. There's a growing number of Americans and American Jews, believe it or not, that have bought into the Hamas propaganda machine, courtesy of, as you mentioned earlier, vast amounts of money being spent in the press here by places like Qatar and other countries. 61%, according to a Washington Post poll, now think that Israel committed genocide in Gaza. If you had the ability to speak to those 50 million Americans that have that thought in their head, what would you say to them? You've been there.
Well, yeah, I've been there. I've been there yesterday, and I've also been there as an IDF officer in the tanks unit. That's my position as an officer in the IDF. I would say that if Israel wanted to take out the entire population of Gaza Strip, we could have done it. We have the military capability to do it, but we chose not to. We chose to notify the population before we launched an attack against a Hamas cell in a neighborhood. What army is evacuating the people and then sending leaflets to areas that are about to be bombarded to make sure that the civilians know and move away from this area? And then that's not all. Making phone calls to everybody that lives in that same building and telling them that the IDF will strike the building because of Hamas presence in this building, and you should evacuate. And more than that, not just telling them to evacuate, making a safe zone for the civilians, and also a corridor, a road, that is being defended by the IDF troops to make sure that Hamas does not launch attacks against its own people to try to prevent them from staying, so that there'll be more casualties in the Israeli strike. Okay, so the IDF does not commit genocide. Let's start with that. It also works very, very hard and puts its own soldiers, our soldiers, at risk in order to protect the Palestinian people, or at least to minimize the amount of uninvolved civilians in Gaza. Listen, there are many, many casualties in the Gaza Strip. Yes, it's 2 years of war, and Hamas is fighting this war from within the hearts of the civilian population, from hospitals, from schools, from United Nations buildings. I've been there. We lost 5 guys on the first few days that we entered the Gaza Strip because Hamas opened fire at our troops from a school in the Gaza Strip, in the Khan Yunis area. Yes, and we had orders not to open fire and launch an aerial strike because it's a school. So we had to wait. And then Hamas used that opportunity to pop out of tunnels inside the school that they placed intentionally and carry out attacks against our forces. So completely incorrect. Plus, the number of Palestinians is growing. So we're not just doing a very bad job genociding the Gaza Strip and the Gaza people, we're actually helping them increase in their numbers. We're also giving them permissions to leave the Gaza Strip for medical treatments, and also allowing Gazan Palestinians that want to evacuate and move to other places to leave. So completely incorrect. And if we are, then we are like the worst genociders that ever existed, because we're not succeeding in this mission.